I've never tried anything like this before, and I bet you haven't either. I'm driving a chassis.
This is a car review, but not in the traditional sense. See, China sold nearly 10 million electric vehicles last year. Brands are launching new models every other month. And the aesthetics and frequency of these events remind people more of smartphone launches than anything else.
The development cycle, which was traditionally 4 to 5 years, but this has been in China significantly reduced to 2 to 3 years.
Some say these cars are the future. Others say they're nothing more than products of subsidies and overcapacity. Based on this premise, the USA even levied a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs in May. In this story, we explore whether Chinese electric cars truly have an intrinsic competitive edge. We selected several aspects of the industry and analyze where they stand globally. We start with this, a so-called pre-integrated EV chassis, made by a Chinese company called U-Power Tech.
This is steer-by-wire, pretty responsive.
It integrates batteries and motor systems into a compact, standalone, and drivable unit. You might wonder why they're not selling whole cars instead. Well, the company says selling pre-integrated chassis actually makes business sense. See, U-Power Tech's target customers are startup EV brands who aim to roll out their own models to the market. By using a standardized chassis, their clients can focus more on designing the car's exterior looks and interior experiences, thus saving time and money for developing proprietary mobility systems.
So we are exactly ready to provide more global standard products for our OEMs to make their products more standard and cheaper.
This year, U-Power Tech has delivered its first batch of products to an American startup EV brand called Olympian Motors, which believes it's simply more cost-effective to buy chassis from China than to develop its own. Ultimately, the newfound promise of this niche industry hinges on China's EV manufacturing expertise and the number of skilled laborers that the country is known for.
We do see the efficiency is very high, and also the supply chain, including the manufacturing capacity, is very flexible.
Such production prowess is what many of China's up-and-coming EV companies are benefiting from. But it has also raised alarms for the American government. This May, the Biden administration raised tariffs on Chinese EVs to a whopping 100%, citing overcapacity. Will these chassis be subject to higher tariffs? It is still unclear as of this video, since the US has not clarified whether it intends to raise tariffs on all products covered by its broad description. But one thing is clear. The American government has been targeting several sectors involved in the Chinese EV industry way before these new tariffs. Here's an example.
Lidars. It's a sensor that uses pulse lasers to accurately measure the distances to surrounding objects in real time, thus helping the car make better autonomous driving decisions. In recent years, we're seeing them installed in many of China's EV models.
Before they have been utilized in smart cars, Lidars had found wide applications in China. These drones deliver takeout food. The Lidar sets on them are vital components that measure the drone's distance from the ground as well as potential obstacles.
Here it comes. This is not some concept demo. Drone delivery of takeout foods has become a reality in select parts of China. And this is the coffee I ordered.
After years of industrial applications and competition, Chinese LiDAR manufacturers control over 70% of the global market. However, Chinese-based Hesai, the top company in the industry, was added to a warning list by the US Department of Defense in January. While this does not equal an outright ban yet, the move has sent a chill down LiDAR makers in China. Beyond these hardwares for autonomous driving, the AI-powered softwares that execute self-driving maneuvers are also an important area in the tech rivalry between China and America. At the Auto China show, Chinese tech firm SenseTime presented its latest solution to use artificial intelligence to realize smart navigation. It's a solution that doesn't even use lidars. See, under current high-end autonomous driving solutions, the lidar sensors, radars, and cameras collect copious amounts of real-time data. And for the system to correctly recognize and analyze what's been collected and execute corresponding driving maneuvers, developers need to write lines and lines of codes to set rules for each possible scenario. This is attainable for less complicated locations like highways, but on city roads where human actions are much more erratic, it's hard for programmers to keep up.
If each scenario requires rule definition, it would need thousands of program engineers and consume a long time.
SenseTime's solution is similar to what American EV firm Tesla is banking on. Instead of improving lidars, just do away with them altogether and rely mainly on video cameras. The work of on-road rule setting is relegated to the AI system, which condenses all visual input into something easily understood by an algorithm.
It is data-driven. Each module of autonomous driving, including perception, fusion, positioning, and control, is integrated using a single neural network.
The power of AI is expected to transform not only autonomous driving, but the cockpit experience as well. iFlyTech was one of the earliest Chinese AI companies to roll out a ChatGPT equivalent last year. Since today's smart vehicles are already known as computers on wheels, iFlyTech spared no time to port their voice AI into a car.
关掉车窗，把车内温度设成25度，打开座椅按摩。
好的，已全部搞定。
Oh, I'm feeling it.
Whether it is AI self-driving or cockpit chatbot, these systems need to be constantly trained to self-improve like all other AI systems. And it requires data and computations. That's where America's AI blockade against China again comes into play. In late March, the Biden administration released revised rules that will further tighten China's access to US AI chips used to train cutting-edge AI.
Those tiny computer chips.
Washington upping the ante.
The US chip ban has also created a sense of unease among Chinese automakers, since smart cars use over 1,000 chips, each serving a distinct purpose. While chips utilized in electric vehicles were said to be exempt from the US's new restrictions against China, the news nevertheless sent ripples throughout the Chinese car industry. So, in response, Chinese car makers are increasingly opting for domestic chip alternatives over those traditionally supplied by global giants like Qualcomm and Nvidia. That has provided Chinese chip manufacturers with an opportunity.
怎么找到你自己的差异化的地方？
The key is to how to identify your unique selling points and subsequently bring value to our automotive manufacturers.
Despite the momentum, Chinese-made vehicle chips still account for only about 10% of the market share here in China.
The process of catching up is anticipated to be gradual, as industry experts suggest that it can take up to 5 years from design to production for a semiconductor chip tailored for automotive applications. Not to mention that substantial investments are required. But some remain optimistic, citing the boom in the Chinese EV market as a catalyst that could propel this burgeoning domestic industry forward.
It is the first time I needed to queue up to see an exhibit car.
Chinese EVs are walking a challenging path, leading in some aspects, playing catch-up in others, and are constantly under threats from US sanctions. Can they innovate and compete their way onto the world stage? At least, judging by their popularity here in China, the industry is enjoying a momentum never seen before.